Yum, yum!
Greg here from Pixel Fondue. It is Friday, the 15th of February, 2019, and I am going to give just a bit of a stream of consciousness state of the MODOVerse here on Friday. There's been a few significant updates in the Moto world lately, and I'm just going to talk to the camera and click on my screen and blab, and maybe this is a horrible idea and nobody will watch, or maybe this is a decent idea and I'll do more. So bear with me. I'm sure I will be bumbling around a little bit, but we'll see what we can see. So right off the bat, we've got the Moto Indie release, Moto 12.2 Indie release. And so this is actually kind of significant, I think, where 12.2 introduces the new UI that came out. And so now that's available to Indie. And you can get this just over on Steam. So I'll put these links down below. Got some comments here. Really love the update. Thanks, guys. Awesome. In a weird way, I'm actually liking the new UI. So actually, in a weird way, I am really liking the new UI. I've talked about this a couple times in previous videos, but the new Moto UI on 12.2 is actually really well done. And I've really been resistant to UI changes, having used Moto for the last 10 or so years. But they really did a fantastic job on this one, in my opinion. In fact, I just saw something. I just saw something new in it today. I'm actually going to bring it up because this is probably old news to other people, but I noticed it has icons for snapping when you turn snapping on, which is pretty great because when you have snapping on and you have you used to have to go through these tool properties and click stuff around, and here we just have them just up here, which is pretty cool. And they're kind of self-explanatory, like snap to grid, snap to point. Let me just grab like a pen tool or something here. So yeah, what am I at? Snap to point. So yep, I can snap to point and make a triangle. Snap to the middle of edges. That's going on as well. So yeah, it's pretty cool that they've got this in there now. And I think it's just a lot easier to use than having to go over to tool properties and go like points and center of polygons maybe. So I don't know. I'm just playing around here a little bit. Center of the polygon right there. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Bevel that guy out. So anyway, so yeah, I think that's a cool new thing. I do think there's a few too many buttons here. Like I tend to, these do collapse, which is great, but I actually tend to like these better than having all this stuff over here, where I think maybe we just go with one or the other. I suppose maybe this is due to people having smaller monitors, but I have this screen squished down to 1920 by 1080, which is not, you're not going to get much smaller than that nowadays, and I think it's fine to have these up, and you just get more going on. So like here I've got my custom layouts. Like I created a custom Octane layout as well, so I can fire up Octane right here in my Moto layout, which is pretty cool. You know, I haven't integrated VRay yet. Maybe I'll do a tutorial on the Octane thing. But you know, so you can customize these here with just custom viewports and pretty much all of these. You can put custom viewports anywhere you want to. And there's I have some workbench stuff here, like this is for running play blasts. And so some of the workbench stuff and the new UI stuff is great. There's already quite a few videos on Pixel Fondue on this, and Andy Brown put some really good ones on the Foundry site. Andy Brown, by the way, should be congratulated. He's been a huge part of the Moto community for years, worked at Foundry for a long time, had been the Moto product designer for the last year or so, and is responsible for a lot of this stuff. Just went to Nike. I think that's public. It's on his LinkedIn page at least. I did talk to Andy a little bit, wished him well, and told him thanks. I sort of mentioned I wished we could clone him before he left, but there's other people like Greg Brown and other people at Foundry who will step up like they always do. And that's always a really good sign when experienced motor users are being hired away from their jobs to go to other companies, because there's clearly a demand for moto users right now. I know Ed Ferrari, who was previously the Moto concierge, went to New Balance recently, and so seems to be a trend here. But yeah, so those are usually, that place has already been fulfilled by you know, Ed has been replaced by Mark White, and it's a good stepping stone to other places in the industry. So anyway, I'm sort of babbling now. Going back to the Steam release. So yeah, it looks like there's some positive comments here. Love the update, blah, blah, blah. So jump on here and really spread the word on this, because the more people using Moto, the better. And it looks like here somebody says, awesome update. However, I had to reinstall Polystyrene. So we do have whitelisted scripts, it appears now. That's probably from a previous version, but that's good to know that things like Polystyrene and some of these great community-built scripts and plugins will work with the Moto Indie version, and they've got a sort of a whitelisted versions of these, while just general scripting and things like that still don't work, I believe, in Indie, because that would essentially just turn it into Moto full. If you can get to scripting, you can get to anything in Moto, so they do have to close that off for Indie. But so that's pretty cool. We got Moto Indie. What else we got? We've got the Moto Essential. So this is William Vaughn's new book. And he showed me this a while ago and talked to him a little bit about it before we released it. And I really think this is just the go-to Moto training source right now. I think everybody who uses Moto, especially people just getting into the program, everybody who downloads the trial, everybody who's starting at a company and starting to use Moto should go through this book. And it should also be viewed by current users. Now, if you're a power user and you don't want to, throw down $35 for it, that's fine. But, even when I was, William was showing me some of the things he had put in there, and I've been using Moto since the very first version. There's great references because even power users forget things. So you forget keyboard shortcuts, you forget how certain things work because you haven't used those aspects of the program for a while. And he has all these great visual aids and charts and keyboard layouts and side-by-side images for different effects and viewing modes and things like that, which is just really essential. It's a great reference if you're a power user, but it's a great learning source, of course, if you're first getting into Moto. Along those lines, Richard Yacht has released a part 1 of VRay for Moto. So I use VRay for Moto quite a bit. In addition to Octane, I've got it, let's bring up Moto here. Got VRay right here. So you can have all these different things in Moto, all these different renderers in Moto side by side, which is cool. And this is the GPU version. It's not VRay Next yet. It's still the previous version, VRay 3.6. But this is I've got two 2080 Ti's in this machine, and the GPU is going to crank through these really quickly, as you can see. Really looking forward to VRay Next for Moto. I haven't heard any tidbits on when that might be released, but if anybody from VRay is watching this, let's get some news, because I think it's time for VRay Next for Moto. Moto is just a great layout. It's a great platform for rendering. A lot of that has to do with the shader tree and the sort of economy of space you can have with an item list and a shader tree, not having to bring up a giant schematic to have to do a lot of your shading, and which ends up giving you like really small windows to work with in terms of actually seeing your render. So we'll get to more of that in probably different videos, but like I said, VRay for Moto from Richard Yacht is out. He's a super methodical and detailed instructor. He is an absolute expert in the program before he goes and makes a training video. There's not going to be any clicking around like, oh, I didn't know how I could do that, or hey, that button's new to me. Richard's like straight up professional. He's like a university professor. I mean, he's like the biology teacher you had in Bio 3 at the university. He's going to give it to you straight and covers everything in excruciating detail. So he's great. I actually bought his Mesh Fusion training because, again, if you want a quick leg up on something, and Mesh Fusion is a really important part of Moto, jump in and buy some training and support these guys who are making really good training assets for the community here. What else is going on? We've got Moto 13 public beta is out for current licensees. So I believe I can show this. Mike, let me show this. Here, I think it's okay. So if you're not, a current license holder of Moto, you're not going to be able to get on the public beta. It's only public for people who are actually using Moto in subscription or maintenance. And I think that's fine. I don't think you need to go to a purely public beta. Maybe at some point that's a good idea. But right now, I think you need to offer people who are on subscription or maintenance a little something. And that's what this is, right? They're offering public betas of the new versions to subscription users and maintenance users now as a sort of, part of their subscription. I mean, you're paying them, and they're doing this. I think it's a great idea that Shane has implemented. It's not just a private beta group anymore. You can jump on this right away and start providing feedback. And also, I'm just going to really hand it to the Moto devs and Shane Griffin, who's working over there and running the whole show with Moto, they're really like cranking out new versions like crazy. Like every 3 months there's something. In fact, I'm not sure when 12.2 came out officially, but I don't think it was even 3 months ago, and there already is a 13 beta. And it's not a small number of features, and I don't think I can go through them in a public video, but check this out. And they're really moving quickly with this program. And I have to say, I actually like this new way of doing things. Waiting, 16, 18, 24 months for a new version of a program, or even just bug fixes, was not great. And I really like this new way of doing things. So jump on the 13 beta, jump on Slack, jump on the forum here, and start clicking around. What else do we have? So I saw this one pop up. This is Tomas Groppi. I hope Groppi. I'm going to go with Groppi, not Groppi. You don't want to be Groppi, Tomas. So he threw this up on the forum, and I thought this was interesting because you see some really cool jewelry design every once in a while, but I never know if that's just people making things for fun or if they're actually real designers of actual jewelry you can buy. And this is what this appears to be. And so using Rhino, SolidWorks, and Moto, he's got quite a few tutorials here. And this is not a small industry. It's kind of like where Moto is working into apparel and shoes and product design and some of this stuff. Jewelry is a huge world, and I'm guessing bringing in a program like Moto, it has the same benefits as going into shoes or something where you can iterate very quickly on designs and renders and even turntable animations, things like that, where you make your final design in something like Rhino or SolidWorks. Same with product design. Your final design is going to be in a CAD program, but you can iterate through a bunch of different just design concepts really quickly using Moto, and it's really becoming a huge part of all these other industries. And Moto is really sort of forging a new path here, in my opinion. It'll be interesting to see what the Foundry does with this, because it's different than their other products, which are really visual effects, really high-end visual effects related. And they've got this 3D program that they acquired, which is really making inroads in different kinds of industries. So it'll be a challenge for them to learn how to sort of market this and take advantage of the Moto success in these areas. But this just shows me it's going in a variety of new industries and lots of cool stuff here. So check out. Oh, he made this motorcycle? I didn't know that was Tomas who made this. I remember that one. That's some cool stuff. Okay, so on the soft products. Oh, he's made all kinds of stuff. This is a great tutorial video, actually. I thought this was for purchase, but maybe it's for free now. I don't know. Anyway, so check out this stuff. Tropism. So if you've been on the forums, you've seen Frederick's plugin he's been working on for a while. And when I mean a while, Frederick, I mean, I'm just looking at your first post here. It says, I can't commit on a release date, but I'm aiming for Q1 2018. So somebody tell Frederick he needs to release this because it looks just awesome. He's got these cool trees here, all these animated parameters. There's this one shot of a dragon. Let me see if I can get to the dragon. If you haven't looked at this, go and jump in and look at it. But you can sort of grow your trees with various sort of modeled directional forces. Also, I know he's got gravity in there, and he's probably has some sunlight tropism as well. But check this out. Like, he's using geometry of this dragon to grow. Gonna give me the dragon? Gonna click. There we go. So, we've got this cool dragon here, and he's grown these sort of these plants inside of it, these branches. I don't know, it's really cool looking. I think this would be great for blood vessels too. And I know he can grow this stuff as well and he's doing this whole leaf system and twig system and a bunch of stuff on here. I don't know. Anyway, so if you haven't checked this out, I would jump on here and check it out. There's just pages of stuff and lots of media. Anyway, so Tropism, can't wait for this to release. Along with Mario Baldi and a lot of other, William Bond and some other people making stuff for Moto. Once this is out, I suggest you support it. Get it, buy it, you'll use it for something. This looks awesome. I can't wait. Okay, what else we got here? Oh, I just wanted to make a note. There is a Pixel Fondue Facebook page. I typically just post things here, like whatever catches my mind. So I will post a few news things here, like, you know, when the Moto Indie comes out, or Marvelous Designer recently had a sale, which I bought it. I don't know if I'll ever use it. Here's Facebook bugging me with something. But yeah, we usually, yeah, there's Moto Indie. And I also put a lot of just links to ArtStation pages that I think are really cool. A lot of concept design ones, especially, which I really like. They're not all Moto related. In fact, I don't think this guy uses Moto, but his stuff is so freaking cool that so I'll put it up there. So if you're one of those people who just loves concept art and just likes to click through it while you got a render go on or whatever, check out the Moto Facebook or Pixel Fondue Facebook page. I tend to put a lot of this stuff up there every couple of days. What else we got here? So, yeah, Emmanuel over at Oxalotl Studio just released the Substance Designer Mesh Importer. It's really cool. You can bring in meshes like OBJs into Substance Designer. Then you can actually transform them, rotate them, move them around, scale them, and then extract depth information and bring that into your Substance flow. And he's got a bunch of pictures and stuff on here. But I just wanted to give him a shout out on this. He also does the Moto to Substance bridge. I believe he does a Maya bridge as well, and probably some other programs. He's super prolific in the stuff that he creates. And this is $15. And one of the reasons I wanted to point this out, because this like a little bit heartbreaking to me when he sent me this link. I took a look here, and you know, he's like saying he's a single developer and piracy impacts him, and you know, he's saying, if you can't afford it, he understands, but please don't steal it. And I'm just also kind of like, it's $15, and like, dude, it's just sort of heartbreaking to see this to me. Like, people stealing something that costs basically like, you know, McDonald's with extra fries or something. I mean, okay, maybe 2 trips to McDonald's, but $15. If you're interested in this, buy it, support him. You use it once and it's paid for. I just hate seeing that kind of stuff, that people are actually stealing this stuff. And I know they do. I talked to William and some other people who, you know, create a lot of content for the community. And he says it's always stolen right off the bat, and it's just something you have to deal with. But man, that's got to be just freaking depressing as a developer. And you're selling something that $15 that's actually super useful, and people are stealing it. So man, please don't steal it. Please buy it. I'll get off my soapbox now. Because, you know, I stole it. I'm kidding. I didn't steal it. Okay, so Adobe acquires Algorithmic. All right, so I don't need to talk a lot about this. I do think that cautious optimism or cautious pessimism is warranted. You know, Adobe has not really shown themselves adept at 3D, so maybe this could just end in horrible disaster. I don't know. I will say that if it does end in disaster, nobody's going to be more disappointed than the people who work at Algorithmic and have really spent the last number of years of their lives building up tremendous goodwill to their community and providing just groundbreaking software. I mean, they changed the industry. They really did, and they deserve credit for that. And I think they deserve a little bit of some rope to see if they can get this right at Adobe. I think the bigger story here is that the CEO of Algorithmic was promoted to, I think, essentially the head of 3D development at Adobe, or at least, you know, their new 3D initiative. So, you know, maybe Adobe is really going to jump in to the deep end this time and is really going to go for it. And if they do, this probably isn't the last acquisition you're going to see. I mean, that's how this stuff happens. A lot of these big companies are looking at 3D now. Microsoft, Google, Apple, Adobe. Think of these like giant leviathans swimming down in the deep water, and up at the top, silhouetted against the sun, swimming across the surface like a unfortunate sea lion about to get, you know, grabbed by a great white shark, or a megalodon in this case. These 3D little companies look appetizing, and they have great technology, and they're established in the industry. They have good reputations. They have mature software. Substance is mature software. It's been around for years now. Painter, it's mature software. It's not something where they're introducing necessarily groundbreaking features or desperately needed features at each release. It's, you know, development slows down after a while. And as you've seen with Adobe products, I don't expect groundbreaking features in Photoshop anymore. I expect multiple undo is nice. That was pretty groundbreaking. But anyway, that's just how this stuff works. And I expect to see a few more of these little companies. And when I mean little, compared to Adobe, these are little companies being snapped up, and not just by Adobe, Apple, Google, Microsoft, even, they're all going Facebook. They all have 3D products now. They all have 3D products or will have 3D products, and or at least are showing an interest in 3D products. And they're just giant companies, and it's important for companies to be able to create 3D content in house, even if there's just R&D and stuff. So we're seeing a lot of people, developers, going to these companies, and we're starting to see a lot of just artists being hired by these companies. I'm here in Silicon Valley, and I bump into people. James, who wrote the documentation for Moto, he's at Facebook. I know, people are going to Apple. There's former Moto developers over there. There's lots of people at Adobe. Lots of people going. Google has 3D AR and VR now. So, this stuff is happening, and this is, either going to be the first great thing or the first casualty. I don't know. But I wish him the best. I really do. And so there's that. What else do we have? I'm going to go back to Pixel Fondue. So I don't know if people have picked up on this, but I started doing this top picks thing, and I try to put some stuff up there every single week. And a lot of this is just stuff that I use or buy. So, and it's not all necessarily 3D stuff. Like, here's a rename utility I like. There's the link, and here's what I think about it, and here's their little description. And there's new stuff every week, so go in and check it out. Like, here's some stuff over Flip Normals. This is stuff like I've bought both of these, so I can comment on it. As somebody who's bought it, a lot of this stuff over at ArtStation or Gumroad, all these little kit bash things, I have a bad habit of buying all this stuff because they're all like $5 or $7 or $3 or $12 or whatever, and I just can't help myself. So I make little notes on here. Here's some. This is Funk had posted this on Slack. Would be a great compliment to Tropism, Frederick, once you release it. Here's a whole bunch of free 4K scanned leaves and twigs. So stuff like this I typically put on here. So definitely check out Top Picks. And take a look at the Moto Gallery and wrap it up here. I did notice some cool stuff on here, some Valentine's Day images. This one in particular I thought was pretty cool with the heart. It's like a North Face jacket sort of type of thing. I thought was really kind of cool looking. There was one with a spider that was just a big, this one. Secret Admirer. Nice title, Scott. So that's a big nope. You see the spider legs coming out of the rose there. I think it's like a dying rose or a dead rose. I don't know. That's pretty freaky. I thought that one caught my eye. This shoe one is just awesome. Something about Moto and shoes, right? But a lot of these are animated. This one here. Really cool work here, by the way. So I really like this stuff. Oh, this is just in the viewport, actually. Man, that's advanced GL. That looks great. I thought that was rendered. Okay, nice. So check out the Moto Gallery. Moto rendered food always looks really good. Like this, that is a great material on that wafer. One thin little wafer, but great chocolate. Yeah, looks awesome. I bet there's some subsurface scattering going on there, I'm guessing. So check out the Moto Gallery, put some comments on these, support your fellow Moto artists, give them some encouragement. And I think that's probably all I'm going to do this week. So I don't know. Let me know if this was worthwhile or if this was stupid and you turned it off after 30 seconds. Or if you just like to put this stuff up on the background while you work and listen to me drone on about Moto stuff. Let me know. This is Greg going to go drink. It's Friday. Bye.
Yum, yum.